What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't want a complication. Complication.
Hey, everybody! All right, we're finally here. We're about to do it. I've been waiting on this.
So today we're going to talk about our top 10 games of 2023. As usual, he's going to talk about his top 5 and I'm going to talk about my top 5.
Now, last year when we did this list, I had two separate top 5s. Last year for 2022. I had two separate top 5s because all the games that I really enjoyed, I did not play with Alicia. So I figured I need to do two separate lists. Because, I be playing all over the place, but I also play games with Alicia. So now, this year, there's only one game on my list that I haven't played with you. And she has showed interest in playing it. So we'll see about that. Now, another thing I want to point out is leading up to this video, I've been saying that my top 5 is locked. That is no longer true.
Really? Okay.
Some things have shifted around. So we'll see, as we get into the list.
So, without further ado, let's get to it.
Now, before getting in our list, I have two honorable mentions.
Okay, of course you do.
Yes, I do. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Actually, I have one.
You have one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll do mine's, yours, mine's. Okay. So, my first honorable mention is an expansion for a game that I already love.
Okay.
And it's in my top 10. And that expansion is Marine Worlds for the Ark Nova board game.
Okay.
And Ark Nova is, like I said, it's one of my favorite games of all time. And I played it recently with the Marine Worlds expansion. And it introduces new animals, but it also introduces a mechanic that allows you to cycle through those cards. Because there's a huge deck of cards in Ark Nova. And that was one of the biggest complaints that people was having, was getting through those cards. Well, now some of the cards have this wave symbol. If it comes out, you keep cycling, and it just helps you cycle through those cards. So now you can find the cards that you're looking for. And I just think that this expansion makes this game so much better, and it's moving up the list. And so now Everdell might have a challenger. I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay.
All right, what is your honorable mention?
So, my honorable mention is an expansion of a game that I love as well. So, my honorable mention is the Landmark expansion to Cascadia.
Oh.
As most of you know, Cascadia is actually in my top 3. So, Landmarks just enriches my enjoyment of the game, so I had to include that.
Oh, Cascadia Landmarks is a really great expansion.
Yes.
Okay, now my other honorable mention is the game that is now in the number 6 spot, but it was in my top 5.
So it got bumped.
It got bumped, but I have to mention it.
Okay.
And that is a game called First in Flight.
That's the one about the Wright brothers?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's made by the same people that made Genotype.
Okay.
And you love Genotype. And I think you would love this because it does have a historical theme where we're playing as aviation pioneers.
Okay.
Who are trying to build the first airplane.
Okay.
And it's a push your luck deck builder. And your deck is your plane is represented by your deck of cards. So you're playing cards out, trying to see how far you can fly without dealing with technical difficulties.
Okay.
But then you're trying to beef up your deck, and you're moving around this board, and you are spending money to hire people to help you and all that. First in Flight is a really good game, and I really need to get that to the table so you could check it out.
Okay.
All right, so that's our honorable mentions. We done got that out the way. So now let's get to the meat. let's talk about our number 5. So, as usual, ladies first.
All right. So my number 5 is Sky Team. I really enjoy Sky Team.
Now, I'm surprised that this is not higher. I knew this was going to be on your list, but I'm surprised it's not higher than what it is.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. It was a really, so one of the things I do like cooperative games, but not just because they're cooperative. It has to make sense, and it has to still be a theme that resonates with me. And I think that Sky Team, particularly the theme of Sky Team, really lends itself to being cooperative.
Yeah, I agree with you because I really love Sky Team. If my top 10, this Sky Team would definitely be on the list.
So what I love about Sky Team is, first of all, the airplanes, the little airplanes are adorable. So are the little coffee cups. I really like the way, the cockpit, the board looks like a cockpit of an airplane, the gear, the control panel of a cockpit in an airplane. So it really has a lot of visual appeal. And I think it's thematic too.
Yeah, see, I know that some people, they say they have like a disconnect of the theme because they feel like in this game, you're placing dice, but you're not speaking. You're not communicating because at the beginning of the game, you roll your dice. And then you talk about what you're going to do. But then when you get to where you're placing your dice, you're not supposed to talk. And people seem to think that's a disconnect. Well, I actually think it adds to the theme because, when you're on a plane, you're not narrating what you're doing. You say, okay, we need to land the plane. Then you do it, So I think the theme is there.
I agree with you.
And I love this game. It's a great 2-player game.
It is. It is. Yes.
All right. So my number 5 is the one game that you haven't played.
Okay.
And I unfortunately, I usually place pictures of when we talk about the game. This is the one game I don't have pictures of.
Oh, okay.
Because it melted my mind so much that I forgot to take a picture. When I was putting it away, it was just like I was on autopilot, like putting it away, and then I'm like, oh man, I forgot to take pictures.
So what game is this?
Scholars of the South Tigers.
Oh, wow. Well, I do remember you talking about that game.
Yeah, Scholars of the South Tigers. Now, if you watched our video of our 5 new to us games of 2023, Wayfarers was my number 1. And that's the first in the South Tigers series. Now, Scholars is the second, and I think the third one is going to be called Inventors of the South Tigers. Now, in Scholars of the South Tigers, you are translating these scrolls.
Now, honestly, that's a theme that sounds fascinating to me.
Okay, you say that now.
Well, sometimes the theme and the gameplay are a different experience.
Well, so the thing about, like I say, you're trying to translate these scrolls. So you're going out into the world, finding these scrolls, and you're taking them back to the temples. Then you're hiring translators, paying them gold in order to translate the scrolls. And the scrolls give you scoring opportunities at the end of the game. The thing about doing is when you take these actions, you're drawing dice from a bag. So it's another drawn from a bag game. You're drawing these dice, and then you're trying to match up all the actions that you take on the board, either have a certain pip value or they have a certain color, that you have to have in order to take that action. So what you're doing is you're mixing up colors on the dice. Like red, like you might have a white die, but you got this little red meeple, and if you connect it with that die, now that die is red.
Okay.
And so you can also raise the pip value with meeples of the same color of the die, and then there's primary colors and there's secondary color. So if you have a red die and a blue die, that's a purple action.
Okay.
So what you're doing in the game is pretty much self-explanatory once you get past the iconography.
Yes.
But how you're doing it, there is the mind meld.
Okay.
So yes, if you want to try this game out, we could try it because
Okay.
I'm definitely playing this. I ended up getting a copy. My friend David says I'm an influencer. Influence him to buy the game. But then he sends me a message saying, "Hey, Game Nerds has this game for a really good price. Who's the influencer?" And I may have said this already, but I'm pointing it out again.
Didn't you already have the game?
No, I ended up buying the game. I played it with my board game group, and then I was kept thinking about it, and I told him about it, and then he told me about the sale.
Oh, he just got you a good price on it. If you kept thinking about it, you were gonna get that game. So no, you're not putting that on Dave. Dave, he's not throwing you under the bus.
All right. Well, you're probably right. I was going to get that game. But anyway, let's go to our number 4.
Okay. My number 4 is Life of the Amazonia. Now, it took me a minute to really kind of get into the game, but I love it. This is one of the games that I wanted to sample when we went to Gen Con. And we finally got it to the table over Christmas break. And so this game is a bag builder game.
Yep, another bag builder. Wait, spoiler alert. It's my number 4 too. So this is our first crossover.
Okay. So it's a bag builder game but it's a little bit like Cascadia Plus.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That is a good description of it.
Cascadia Plus. One of the things I really love about this game, and maybe because I'm female, I don't know, but those adorable animal meeples.
Yeah, you were really gushing over those meeples.
I do like those.
Yeah, you gush over stuff like that. So they are cute though.
They are.
So I mean, like I said, it's my number 4 also, and I think that would be a good description. Quetzalcoatlin meets a complex Cascadia, and what you're doing, you're drawing your resources out of the bag and using those resources to either attract animals into your jungle or buy habitat tiles, or you're getting trees or little flowers to put on there. You're also buying these scenery cards that might give you an immediate bonus or an in-game bonus. And this game is beautiful. It has that waterfall.
Yeah, the waterfall is cool.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the tree in Everdale. Like it really doesn't.
You know what? I disagree. Because it's the track marker too.
Yeah, but they can be flat.
It could be, but it gives it much better.
Exactly.
It gives it a much more impressive table presence.
Exactly, just like the tree in Everdale.
Okay. I have to agree with you.
So yeah, we ended up playing this 3 times.
Yes.
And like I said, she thought about that was one of the games she wanted to see at Gen Con. We didn't get a chance, but my local board game store had a couple copies, so I picked it up just so we could play it.
Yes.
So that's our number 4. Now on to number 3.
My number 3 is Maple Valley. Maple Valley is set in the same world as Creature Comforts. And those of you in the know that Creature Comforts is one of my favorite games.
See, I knew she was going. This is another game we played over her winter break, and I knew she was going to like this game.
All right, so Maple Valley has all the charm and cuteness of Creature Comforts. And I think it's an even more family-friendly game.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I prefer the dice play of Creature Comforts.
Oh, don't.
But I can see why you would like,
Oh, don't. I love Maple Valley, but Creature Comforts I still like Creature Comforts more, but Maple Valley, of course, has its own charm.
Yeah, because it's set in the same world. It's set like after Creature. Like in Creature Comforts, you're preparing for the winter. But this is set after the
You're-
snow melts.
And you're preparing for the spring festival, and this is card based, and it's just really cute. The art is delightful.
You're collecting friends.
Yes.
You're gathering. Let's not say collecting. You're gathering friends who
to-
can only travel on certain paths.
Yes.
In order for you to go forge these different resources and to put together these crafts.
Right.
You know, these crafts, cards, like you're cooking, you're making gifts, stuff like that. You're bringing musical instruments.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
And like you said, the art is so, like, I remember when we did talk about Creature Comforts and I talked about how the soup on the card just made me hungry. They got a card in Maple Valley with pancakes. And I wanted pancakes immediately. I want to make some pancakes. So yeah, I knew you were going to like this. And honestly, when my second full packs, I worked with KTBG and I taught Maple Valley.
Now, another thing I like about Maple Valley is I like slightly heavy games, not seriously Euro games, but I like easier, simpler games, and Maple Valley fits that bill. It's simple, it's easy. It has a little strategy, but it's not a brain burner.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that.
Yeah, Maple Valley, I knew you would like that one.
Yes.
All right, so my number 3 is the one game that crept up my list.
Oh, really?
It crept up. Like when I first played it, I didn't care for it too much because I lost horribly.
Okay.
You know, but then we recently did we played through it a couple of times, preparing because we did a teach for ORPG Voices.
Oh, okay. I know the
Recently.
game you're talking about.
And then since then, I played it a couple more times. I'm a game cleric up at Vault at Midnight, and I did a teach of this game to a couple of young ladies. And it's just crept up because I started seeing all the different scoring opportunities.
Okay.
And that game is for a shuffle.
Okay.
And like I said, it crept up, and I just really enjoy this game. It's card based, easy to get to the table, small rule set. But what the ways to score points that's the challenging part. So you're building up a forest tableau in front of you, and you have trees to play, but then you have these animal cards, and some of the animal cards are split like 2 different animals left to right, 2 different animals top and bottom. So you have to decide which animal you're going to place on your tree, whether you're going to place it at the top of the tree or the bottom of the tree or the left to the right, which means you forfeit the other animal. So you're going to tuck that other animal underneath, and it's not going to get you anything. And so it's really, really, really brain burning. I'm not even gonna lie.
So I actually like Forest Shuffle. I do like and one.
But it's not on her list.
Well, I
can tell.
I'm about to say why. I like it because you do have a lot of scoring opportunities, and you are building a tableau, and I love tableau building. The thing about Forest Shuffle is I get that same satisfaction from other games that aren't as busy. It just feels so busy to me. And I remember the very first time we played it, I said, this feels too much like my job. Because those split cards, it's so busy. Like the cards.
The word is pivot.
No, you can pivot in the game, which is one of the things I like about it. It is a game where you can pivot, but just even the split cards, that's just so busy to me, and it just feels too much like my day job, and I don't want that in the game.
Because you have to pivot.
No, it's not.
You have to make the choices.
Yeah, you have to make 1,000 decisions, and you're constantly juggling 14 things. So yeah.
Okay, I get the connection that you're talking about. I get it now. But I love Forest Shuffle.
I get it. I
And
get
it
it.
has crept up. And I mean, it's like, I don't know. It might creep up
Even
to
higher.
it won't take my number one though.
Okay.
I will not replace my number one. But Forest Shuffle, it is a great game.
Okay.
So, all right, on to number 2. So, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is the John Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. Now in this game, you are hiking the John Muir Trail and you're gathering little useful resources in your backpack. And one of the things this game reminds me of Parks in a little bit, because one of the things you get to do is you get to go visit these vistas and you collect cards, and they look like the cards in the national park cards in Parks, and they are breathtaking.
Now, sport, just so you know, this is our second crossover.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Wow.
Trailblazer is a really, really beautiful game. Now, I kickstarted this game. I was interested in it because it had Andrew Bosley art. And,
Okay.
I mean, like, and if you know, Andrew Bosley did the art for Everdale, and he did the art for Tapestry. And I really was interested in this game.
Okay.
And so when I got it, I figured you would like it because it did remind me of Parks, but it was on the next level.
Yes.
You know, and in this game, the resources you're gathering is like water, there's wood, you might get fire and all that. And then you got things to put in your backpack.
Oh yeah, that's what.
You know, and so
Binoculars, a Swiss knife,
Swiss Army knife, you know, stuff like that. And you're trying to fill up your backpack. And then when you get that patch in your backpack, the next time you get that patch, since you already got it, you move up this trail. And so, like I said, you're going to visit these vistas, you collecting these fauna. It has a set collection. You're collecting these fauna and flora cards and scenery plant cards or whatever. And the thing about it is you're hiking. And so you have to hike the trail. So it doesn't matter how many points that you have accumulated throughout the game. If you have not hiked that trail,
you cannot win. Now, this game is so gorgeous. In addition to the Vista cards, just the board, the way the components look, it just really is it's just very pretty, very scenic. But I'm telling you, what would take it up even more is if those tools that go in your backpack,
yeah,
if they were 3D, like little wooden or
you asking a lot.
Oh my goodness, that would just
You are
take it
asking
over
a
the
lot.
top. That would take it over the top.
You are asking a whole
That
lot.
would take it over the top.
Yeah, John Muir Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. It is a beautiful game, and you can really see the passion of the designer who designed this game, because they really care about hiking, you know. And I think there's another one, but I don't remember. It's Trailblazer, but they're hiking somewhere else.
Okay.
I think it's another one coming up. But yeah, I really, really love this game.
Yes.
It is a beautiful game.
Yes.
All right, now I'm pretty sure that let's just go ahead to our number 1.
All right.
So I already know what your number 1 is. So go ahead.
So my number 1 is World Wonders. Now, in World Wonders, this is another game that I was looking forward to getting at Gen Con. We did score it at Gen Con.
Yeah, we did.
And we played it, and I was not disappointed. So in this game, you are putting monuments from the ancient world into your city. And I mean, I'm talking about the pyramids of Giza,
the Great Wall of China,
the Colosseum, Roman
Colosseum.
Yeah, so those And they are actually 3D wooden replicas of these, so they really look nice. And the game just really looks, when you have constructed and finished,
Your player board,
yes,
your
and
city.
you have all of these monuments in it, you just sit back and look at your handiwork, and it just gives you such a great sense of satisfaction.
Yeah, this definitely would have been in my top 10.
Okay.
And like I said, I knew this was going to be your number one.
Yes.
Because it pretty much is a polyomino tile placement game. But what you're doing is you're not, when you drafting tiles, you're actually paying currency for them. So you get a certain amount of currency at the beginning of each round. And so you're buying like libraries or farms and roads and stuff like that. But then it has this push your luck element, because the monuments, if you meet the requirements that to be able to purchase that monument, when you buy that monument, you're spending the rest of your money, which means the round ends for you. So you have to decide, like, you might have a lot of coins, but you see, it really promotes player interaction, because you start looking at everybody else's board. And you're wondering, like, okay, the pyramids of Giza, is it Giza? Giza. It requires two libraries or two temples or whatever. So you see that I can look over the table and say, like, Alicia got 2 temples, so she could buy that. But now you're wondering who gonna buy it first, because that ends the round, So, and I might want to get it before she gets it, because it fills up space on your board, And World Wonders is a beautiful game, especially after you finish the game and you get to look at the fact that you place the like you said, the Roman Colosseum is next to the Great Wall of China or whatever, and I mean, it's really, really cool.
It is.
So,
it is.
Okay. Now, my number one, all these, like I said, Forest Shuffle crept up there. My number one is a game that you played. You wasn't that crazy about it. I loved it. I've since played it. I took it to PAX with me.
Okay.
And it's just in that small box. And that game is The White Castle.
Okay.
The White Castle is my favorite, my number one game of 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, because I mean, what I love most about it is it's combo after combo. You only get 9 turns in this game.
Now you do like your combos.
And so you got to make your turns got to be as efficient as possible. And so when you take an action, so you're drafting a die. Pretty much you're drafting die and you're placing it on these die spaces out on the board. And depending on the pre-printed value of that die, you're either going to gain money or you're going to have to pay coins. And then you take that action, but you want to try to make sure that action can chain into another action, then chain into another action, then chain into another action. Because if you go put a die and you do one thing, you feel like that's a waste of action. You better be preparing for something. And like I played this, I haven't played it solo, but I played it at all other player counts.
Oh, I didn't know it was a solo mode.
It is a solo mode.
Okay.
But what I like the 3-player, because that really promotes the player interaction, because you get to place the dice, stack the dice too high. 2 die high. So if I go to a pre-printed 3 and space and I put a 5 die there, then I would get 2 coins back. But now another player, they want to place a die, but now they only had a 2 die. So instead of paying 1, now they gotta pay
3. And they looking at you like,
yeah. Now they looking at me tight-lipped like you knew I wanted to go there. And I was like, So, and I mean, it just doesn't take long at all.
9 turns, no.
It's beautiful on the table. I mean, and you're placing your warriors out into the training yard, your gardeners out into the field, and you're moving courtiers up
Through the palace.
Through the palace, that's trying to gain prestige, And I mean, the White Castle is easy to set up. Once I teach people how to play it, It's easy to play, and I mean the iconography, the graphic design of the game is great. You know, so that's my number one game of 2023.
Okay.
So there you have it. Those are Alicia's top 5 games and my top 5 games of 2023. Now, I have to say that, like I said, I be playing all over the place. And I played a lot of great games from that came out in 2023. You have too. But, you know, like I said, I be all over the place. And this list was very difficult for me to solidify, you know.
So, I first of all, I did not play as many games as you this year. Also,
I don't think you're ever going to play as many games as me in a year.
also, there were some games I wanted to play this year or from last year that I haven't gotten to. But, so I played a lot of games that I enjoyed, but picking the games that I enjoyed the most, that part wasn't as hard for me this year.
No, I got you. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. And
What are some of the games what are your top 5?
what is your favorite game from 2023?
Share your list with us in the comments below.
Yep. And if you like the contents of the video, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been Blackboard Gaming.
We will see you next time.